use the default, by default, just have no pill draw on this class, and it'll be good to go. We're going to move right on down here to MRP Live, and this is where we're going to set up our transponder integration. Now, I recommend just setting this up a little bit before you start checking people in, just to make sure everything's good to go. And get that done there. So I'm going to hit launch from web. This is going to open MRP Live. I already have that downloaded, but if you needed to have it downloaded, you could do that right here. And we're going to match some things up in our Westhold system. So first thing I'm going to do too, just because I have not been keeping track, I'm going to clear out this assignment path, which I should have done last week, but you know, that happens. So we're going to go take a look here at this setup page, and we're going to find some numbers and match them up. So this, under here, there's this network broadcast control. There's this IP address. This string of numbers here, I'm going to copy this and put it right here. That's very possible that it's just not going to change for you, so you only have to do this once. It can change, though. If you ever have an error that says you have the wrong IP address, just double check these. In our monitor, we're going to take this 50,000. We're going to put this here. And this button here, this enable network, we're going to make sure that this is clicked as well. So we're going to want that clicked for us. I'm going to switch it over to Race Manager. MRP Live code, that's going to be this code right here. When I hit launch from web, it copies that code for me. So that's it kind of does that there. This is going to be what ties it to the specific day. So the thing that's going to tie it to March 5th at this track is going to be this code. And then the assignments path. This is going to be where we're sending the lineups. And when we're using Westhold, it's pretty handy because we can actually go into our C drive. It might be a little bit different for you. For me, it's in the C drive. That's where I saved Race Manager. And I'm going to go to Assign right here and click OK once this is set up. So it's very possible you won't have to do this very often. If you just hit launch from web, you have that initial setup done, you should be good to go. I'm going to hit connect. It's connected. It's good to go. And we can now we can ignore this for now. So we're going to move past this. Forget about it right now. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. Again, if you do have questions about anything there, race management or transponders, specific questions, let me know. I'll be going over all of those here. That's Alt and H. I know we have some people that just stepped in. So Alt and H is the chat for that. You can either message me direct if you don't want that shared, but I'm sure if you do have any questions, other people will have those as well. So go right to the entry list. I'm going to switch up my class to that 360 class. This is the one where I said I did not want pills to be drawn. And we have a list of all of my drivers here in this class. So where is this coming from? If we go here to the settings, we're going to see a couple things. We can see this manage classes right here. Let's select our 360s. This is our list of drivers right here. That's pulling from a couple different spots there. We can also see where we have our default car numbers and default transponder numbers. If I needed to change that, not on race day, I could do that here and edit that. So we have our filter ready right here. Let's say we have a driver show up. If he says his name is Corey Coldcuts. So we find Corey right here. We click on him. And we're going to see a couple things about Corey. So we have his default number in is 85. And looks like his is the owner here. He has a walkthroughs as his car owner. So, and the pay is going to go to that owner. We have that set by default. If we need to switch it up, we can always do that. Click this magnifying glass. We can see all the other people that Corey has used or people that have used our track. We also can create a brand new one too. He also appears to own his own transponder, the 1004. So we have that there. We have his age, we have his profile that's been claimed. His address is on file, and looks like he did that when he registered at our racetrack. So drivers can register for the year. That's in season management. And when I confirmed him, that's what got his address and default car number. I put in all that there for him. So kind of saved me a lot of time here. We also have this lineup override option. So what would this be for? We could use this, let's say he showed up late and we just wanted him to start at the back, or he was just like, hey, this is my first night racing. I really don't feel comfortable being up front. That's totally fine. We can just start him at the back of all the heats. So what this means is that he's going to start all the way in the back, no matter what he would do normally. So it wouldn't matter if normally he would start up front. We have just overrode him. So I'm going to do that. We're going to add him here. So he is checked in. He is good to go. We're going to see this gold helmet here. That is a signifier that he has claimed his profile. Claiming a profile does a lot of really cool things for a driver. They get a profile that they can share to, it's kind of like a Facebook page for drivers, essentially. They can share their photos, videos, news, their schedule. And then when they're sharing their schedule, if they say they're going to be racing at the track, say it's going to be racing this 360 sprint class, it'll actually share the results over too. So a lot of really cool things for him. But another thing he has access to is that if he logs into the MyRacePass app using his using that what he used to claim his profile, here when we do the scan barcode, he actually has on the MyRacePass app a hard card that we can scan in with the phone. So or scan in with that barcode reader. So we can scan that in and check him in for the night. I think it's a really cool thing for them to do. And the barcode scanner option is really great because it allows you to, one, cut down on any duplication, because that doesn't have to be drivers on this list. It can be drivers who are from anywhere. So if you have someone who's running in from out of state, they could check in. You could check them in and have that information there. And also speeds things up because you only have to click here, scan it, and they're checked in. You don't have to search. So I'd highly encourage, if you need to, let your drivers know that that's an option for them. And if you want to know the scanners, there's some that we recommend. There's some that can scan smartphones. You can actually find that here in the help section. We have the specific link for that. There's an Amazon link for a scanner. It's a boxy looking kind of thing, and that's it's pretty reasonably priced. So we're going to enter in drivers other ways, though. Another way we can do this is to import from a previous day. So let's say I just had a 2-day show, Friday into Saturday, and I just wanted to import some of the same drivers. I could. So I could copy some of these drivers over and copy over their transponder numbers or their pill numbers if it was a special, or if I just wanted to copy them over, I could. I have that option. We also have the option to mark some of these as rented and adjust that transponder number. I'm going to mark those as rented just so you can kind of see some of the other things coming down the road. I'll come back to that in a bit. Let's say we have a driver who, for whatever reason, is just not on this list. We can always search for them up here. This is going to search through every driver that we have in the system so we can find them. It'll also let me create a brand new driver if I'd like. But what I will recommend for you guys, if you do have someone, make sure that you check their last name first. So the reason for that, let's search for Mr. Grouse here. So we have a couple Gary Grouses. So you can see that we have a couple, but you'll actually be able to see that right up here. But if we had someone else, if we just wanted to go as Gerald, we could find them. And in Gary's case here, we just ask if he was from Obo, Kansas, or had ever been in Obo, Kansas, and we can check him in there. We're going to want to cut down on duplicates, especially for IMCA. Those rules, if we were to create another Gary Grouse, right now it'll actually throw off his average because it'll treat him as if he was a separate person. And if you do ever have to create a brand new driver, make sure that you fill in the hometown all the way as well, because it's going to be checking that hometown right there too. So if we put in another Gary Grouse from Obo, Kansas, actually let's do that. So we're gonna actually just make a brand new Gary, and he says he's from Obo, Kansas. It's gonna let me use that match there. So it's going to prevent us from trying to create any duplicates. So it's going to help out a lot with that. So that's another thing that we have. If you do create a duplicate and it's not the end of the world, just make sure you let us know. We can merge all the results together and get that fixed. But we want to make sure that we avoid that, especially like I said, we're using IMCA lineups that's point averages. If we were to create a brand new driver for any one of these guys, it'll say that it'll treat them as if they've never been there, and it'll throw things off for you guys, which can be pretty confusing for drivers that you already have out there. The last thing I'm going to be doing here is a speed entry button. This is an option that you have. It's going to skip that opening window that you saw there. And now I'm going to put in my transponder numbers for my drivers. I do have to go with a pretty specific set of numbers just for the system there. So just another reminder again, if you do have any questions, you can ask those at Alt and H, and we'll be answering those here. Be answering all the questions that you have. Alt and H again, the place to do that. Whether it's about the entry window or something you want to see coming up too, let me know. I have that window open. I can see what you're messaging. So let me know. We'll get that rolling for you. So we're going to go continue on down into the races tab. So we have the option here of selecting a previous setup that we've done before. I'm just going to list this out. I believe it goes to 50 spots. So we could actually go and pull from, looks like exactly 1 year ago, and do what we did then if we'd like. I also can just add in those manually. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm just going to do one heat and one A feature, but I could do more than that if I wanted to. I could do heats, features, dashes, qualifying, specials, and hot laps, and I can go all the way down to a Z feature if I'd like. I also can add in multiple of the same type of race up here. I'm going to put in the laps here, and I'm going to go to tech. We'll click add. All of our races are created. The main thing we're going to be focused on right here is who's going to transfer to the next race. So for me, with 10 drivers, I'm just going to say all, and everyone's going to go. By default, it's just going to go per race. So it's going to take the top however many drivers in each race to the next race, to the feature. For example, if we had a B feature, I'd want to know who goes to the A and then who goes to the B, and then from the B to the A. So kind of elaborate there on that. You can see that it's breaking it down a little bit more. We're also able to add and remove. So in this case, I didn't need a B, so I can just delete it. It's out of the way. If a whole bunch more people showed up and I needed to make more heats, I could make those in advance. I'm also able to set how many drivers per row I'd like. It's going to default to 2 and everything but qualifying, but I can go 1, 2, or 3. So that is your choice right there. We're also able to rename this if we'd like. So we can put in a sponsor. Again, we can put in the laps. So we can get pretty specific with some of the information that we'd like to put in on here. We're going to go into our lineups next. So with our lineups, we could do this manually if we'd like. We just click in the drivers or X them out. There, we do have that option. But another way we could do that, we could calculate our lineups. The first time that I've done this, you're going to be prompted to go to this screen right here. This is going to have all of the different lineups that we have in the system. So these are all of our A features, all of our Bs, Cs, heats, all the way on down. So I've actually selected some of those. And you'll see that we have the opening night lineup, and I'm going to be using that 3-week point average. So you could have that on there. So there we go. I'm going to do the point average heat for that. We're going to calculate that. And it's going to calculate based on how I have that set up. So for me, I said I wanted just by the point averages, but we also said that Corey, no matter what, would go to the back because we sent him there. If we want to double check that, we can. We actually have the IMCA point average report. And so we can see who has all of our different point averages, where is that coming from, and why it's doing what it's doing. So you can see that Corey actually would have done pretty well. He would have been starting up ahead, but we put him in the back. So I have a question here about a B feature. B feature setups are going to be pretty well the same. It's just going to, the main thing when we do that is just we're going to set a different transfer and then just pick another lineup. So it's going to be repeating what we have done in the past and just creating that. And since I only have 10 people, you know what? Okay, let's do it. We'll make a B. We'll live a little here. So I'm going to say everybody's going from the B, so that I have 10, and then it's going to ask B to A. So we'll just add a B feature. Go into our lineup. What we just did there won't affect anything with our lineup. We can share this again to Facebook and Twitter. When I created the lineup, we have this checkbox right here to set the lineups to public. That means that it's viewable in the My Race Pass app. So people can look on the app, find this lineup here. If we wanted to move people around, so let's say Chuck Ground just was late, so we're just going to move him to the back. We can click and drag him and hit save down here. That's going to update everywhere as well. If you have a My Race Pass website too, it's actually going to update the website for you right along with it. And what we're going to do, we're going to click MRP Live. What we did back on this step when we connected the transponders is going to come into play here. And we're going to send those lineups. It's going to say the lineups are sent. And in our assignments path, we have all of the lineups that are sent to lineup mode. So this flag right here, this blue one, that's lineup mode. So it's going to send all of them that are in this kind of state. For me, that was just the one heat. You can send them all though in a big batch. So if I had both of my classes had their heats available, we could do that, and we'll send everyone here. And we just kind of double check that we have that correct. 13, 24, 15, so on down. Let's go into MRP Live now. We can just kind of double check how that race is going. This is going to be what a fan would see if they're using the My Race Pass app. So we're going to kind of let them run. We'll start it. All right, and they're just going to go across the line, and it's going to update. So you're going to see both of it here. So it's going to be updating. It'll update if I was to put in a caution flag. It's going to update with the finish flag. It's actually even updated the number of laps that I put in when I did that in the races tab. So it's going to go to 5, and once it hits 5, it's going to know that it's going to stop. So we're going to let it go. If I wanted to follow a specific driver, say like I'm a real big Mark Moose fan, I can click him and see how he's doing, and see his best lap, the last lap. See that information here. Okay, the race is done. We're just going to hit stop. When we hit stop, this is the cue. It's going to ask us to save. I don't have to if I don't want to. But once I hit stop, that's the cue that when I go into results, my pending race up here, that's going to be where we're going to get that. So if you don't see this after you finish the race, make sure you hit stop. We want it to be fully stopped. That's when it's going to know that it can pull everyone in. So when we click it, it's going to be our results. So we have right here 01, 09, 85, all the way on down, how they finished here. So kind of double checked it. I can also now set if they did not finish, did not start, were disqualified, were black flagged, and for IMCA we don't need to worry about this. This is a passing point one. As soon as I hit save is completed, that race is saved. All of those are updated. Now they're going to be in the MyRacePass app. We're also able to share this to our Facebook or Twitter page right from here. We're going to go then to the lineups. It's going to go to the next race that we have. That's going to be our B feature. And when we do that, we're just going to calculate this out. We do have that here. So we would just select the lineup that we're going to be using there for that. So I'm going to select my lineup and just send that lineup over. And then again, be the same process. B feature 1. I'm going to start it. And then they're going to race there. So you see that it's just going to be a lot of what we're doing again. I'm just going to repeat. So I'm going to finish that B feature. We'll stop it. Now for me, with the transponders and everything, I have to have 10 people. Otherwise, it'll just be a little off. So you would actually have people transfer out. That's totally fine. And actually, we'll work with the points. I'll explain more what I mean there in a bit. So we'll go back up to our A feature. So we have everybody here. We're just going to do our point average feature. We do have the opening night one in here as well. Since I'm only would be using this about once, I just kind of leave it in here instead. But you do have that option. I'm going to hit that. We're going to change it up here a bit because it's not expecting everybody to come from the B. There we go. And it's going to work off that point averages. We have reports for this. This IMCA point average report is going to show for everyone. So for everyone that's on this here, if we wanted to see the point averages for every driver that we have in that class, we have that too. That's actually right here. So this report, this point average report in here in reports, I'm saying report a lot. This one's going over all of every driver that I have, and the one that I have in here is every driver in my entry list. Just in case you do have all that information available. And again, we're just going to send the lineups again. And again, if I was on this assignments page, by the way, and I send lineups, just make sure that click out and back in. That'll kind of refresh the page where we need it to be. So we got our A feature ready. We're gonna start it up. We're gonna let it run for a bit. Again, I always have this page open, this MRP live page when I have transponders running, just so that I can see if everything's connected there. So again, that questions is the Alt and H there. You can ask in the chat any questions that you may have. All right, we're gonna let it go here. Again, you can see that we're gonna do that. If I just threw in that caution lap, can make my adjustments in here, start it back up again. It's gonna update for me up at the top there. Again, we're gonna remember that we need to hit stop, and we'll go into results. I'll be right there. If you were already in results and you hit stop, make sure that you just refresh the page, and you'll see it right here. We're going to save as completed. Now let's say we find out that this guy's transponder, for whatever reason, he just did not charge it. Real forgetful guy. He actually finished up here. We can just click and drag him and move him where you want it to be. We can also, if we need to, X some drivers out here. And if you see a driver, so right up here that just is a bit different color, we can click on him and do that there. It's going to be using the transponder number to match these up. So make sure we put that transponder number in, make sure it matches up. I'll be good to go here. And we're going to go into our points. So when I do this, it's going to ask me to add a points and pay group. Now, before I started, I've actually gone in and added in my points and pay schemes. IMCA actually has it pretty easy because you have the global point scheme already here. So you have a few that you can choose from. I've added in mine that I'm going to be using. And this is a global preset. We can't adjust this or anything. This is just going to be exactly the rules as set by IMCA. So it's going to have all those different things baked into it. Those different rules, the specific ones there about car counts and things like that. So when I click Add Points and Pay Group, I can click IMCA. It's going to ask me what pay scheme I want to do. I like to use the same point scheme, but mix up pay schemes for a couple different reasons here, namely because I just like to have one here, so I don't have to re-enter anything. I can just make my own point schemes as I need, or my own pay schemes as I need. I also can put in any adjustments, so pay adjustments can go into here. And I'm also able to create payments right on this side. So when I'm at this create payment screen, I can export this to QuickBooks. I can also get a full report of all the checks, and I can print checks too. So this check right here, this is kind of the brand of it. You can see that right up here. This is going to be, I like to call them a 2 receipt kind of check. It's going to have the check up here at the top. There's 2 receipt copies here. Drivers that I do have the address for, it's actually going to show up here. These are the drivers that I address here. So it's going to have that right there. So again, like I said, we can go into points and pay. And if we have this report here, we can actually print this different report. We can print this report. Most of our, you can actually print quite a few of the different reports, and all of them are exportable to either Excel or PDF. So you have that option here. I also can put if I want the font to be normal or small. If I wanted to fit more, save some trees. Speaking of reports, on that topic here, we do have a lot of different reports here that kind of show different things. So we have a few different lineup reports. This is gonna, we can actually go 1 per page or multiple per page. So I'm gonna split that up here. I have a lot of different lineups here. What if I only cared about my A feature for the 360s? That's okay. I can just click this here to toggle. This will either toggle them on or off. Only the ones that I click here to print will print, and I'm able to print that right up at the top. Again, this is that export to the PDF. Applicable ones are exportable to Excel. And like I said, a lot of different reports here, or point averages, things like that. All right, I'm going to open it up to some questions here. That's going to be at Alt and H will be this place to ask those questions, so don't be afraid to do that. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by, Deanna, I'm not sure what exactly you mean by the different heat. Yeah, there's a payout sheet for drivers to sign. So actually a couple different ones. Some of the ones that folks like to use This detailed points, I know a lot of other tracks like to send this one out to IMCA. So I'll export this to a PDF, send this out to them directly because this breaks down everything. Also has this nice sign out. And then other ones that you can use, points by race is a popular one. And the reason a lot of folks like this one is that you can kind of move things out of the way. It'll also tell me who the owners are. I didn't mention it at the time when I did the checks, but it's actually going to update with the owner information on there. When I say pay owner on the check, it actually went to this owner here. And you see that here for all of my different classes here. It's gonna break it out by each race in case different drivers get paid per individual race. For me though, I'm only paying for the A feature, so I'd only have to print off this one sheet right here. Or I could sort it out just A features. We also, if I need to, I can also move drivers in between heats. I only had one heat here, but let's have some fun with some history and switch in between some drivers. So other things like that I will be able to do and move a driver in between one heat to the next if I wanted to. Again, though, that's going to be different from this point average. If I do calculate lineups, I can also recalculate it. So if I did feel the need, I could recalculate this, and it's going to split it up here. I'm going to discard these changes, delete that extra, delete that extra race. But like I said, quite a few options. You get to be pretty versatile here with everything. Again, like I said, Alt and H is the place to ask any questions that you have about how this would work for different configurations. Why I did have to go through and remove that. We do have kind of a safety feature if you do try to remove a race. If I do have a race here that I want to remove, I had to make sure that I cleared it out of lineups and results. Be able to do that. So, yep, from what you're asking there, that would be we just click and drag him from one heat to the next if we needed to do that. We could do that. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna divide up evenly. So with 10, it's gonna do 5 and 5. If I had 11, I think it's gonna move it's gonna go 5 and then 6. So it's gonna move one from here. So it's gonna divide up as evenly as possible. Or actually, it's to go 6 and 5, the other way around. Heat 1 will have more. Again, that's going to be Alt and H. Ask any other questions. Some other things that you do have access to here, we'll have that announcer screen up at the top. With the drivers that do claim their profile, you can see that they can actually put in different things. Here, I believe I had a bit more of an active driver. They're actually putting in, they can put in their crew, the highlights. I can also see the results from today and also other races that they've done. This is just for the announcer just to see their points, and I can also put in notes here. So you can see that yesterday this guy ruined a motor there. Yep, and Josh did put in the links there for backgate entry and also for the best barcode scanner. The one that we recommend that I alluded to here in the help section right here. Actually, you can see that we have all of our help articles here. And I actually searched for scanner just in case. Here you can actually see that we can find that here. It's going to recommend that down at the bottom right here, the suggested hardware. And this was the one right here, this SIM code MJ82B right there, for what we're using. I had a question here. If a driver shows up late and you already have the lineup done, when you put them in, will they show up in the heat once they're posted? So if I was to do that, so let's say I have my heat one done. Let's ignore the fact that we already have points done here. We're just going to play around a little bit. And let's say late, this driver right here, he shows up and he's going to ask for somebody else's transponder number and someone else's car number. We're gonna let him through. I would also probably, in this case, since he would show up late, let's do that one more time. I'm gonna pick a different guy. We're gonna put him to start at the back of all the heats because he did show up late. When I go back to the lineup and I try to create those lineups, you're gonna see that he's right here, kind of made already. I can recalculate the lineup, which is what I do. I'm just going to recalculate it by the point average, and it's going to put him in here. And it's going to put him down towards the bottom right here. And when I did that, that's actually going to post them again. It's going to update those. So if we did it manually too, it's not going to let me run away without doing that. So if I tried, it already saved with that. But if I tried, let's adjust it here. Let's make it different. If I tried just putting them in manually, clicking them towards the back, and I tried to leave, let's say we're just going to go to MRP Live, it's going to say, hey, wait, you got to save the changes. So it's going to let you do that. It is going to put, if you do click a driver manually like that, it is going to put him towards the back of that race. But I could click and drag him towards the top if I wanted to. In this case, though, he showed up late, so he can stay in the back. Yeah, but that's gonna. I also put this in here to start him at the back of all of the different heats here. Yep, and Josh, in there on the chat, also put in the links to the checks that we recommend. There's a few different links there that go through the DLT 103 style of checks, and also that help desk article on checks. Again, you can go into here, and it's going to have more of that information that you're looking for. A lot of information here. It's good to have. Close out some of these other tabs here. So I could just search for checks. It's going to be right there. That's going to be the article that Josh linked to. It's going to go over all the different steps here on how we do that. You also can get to the help videos from here. That's going to have all the videos that we've done currently about race management. Also, the YouTube channel, so we'll also have the webinars. I'll be posting the webinars after they happen in their own playlist. Great questions, though. Feel free to keep that up. It's going to be Alt and H is the spot where we're going to be doing that. Asking any questions that you'd like. Again, doesn't have to be about anything I've gone over. Feel free to ask away. Be happy to answer those for you. We're also able to see the payments, so I can see the past payments. Also, the points did update too. So another cool thing, if you do have the app, you can actually check that out and see right now that points did update. And if I had a My Race Pass website for this track, it'll actually update those points as well. So it's going to keep everything kind of updated for me without me having to go back in and do that over again. It's all kind of in one spot, kind of a one-stop shop there. So that's a really huge thing for a lot of folks, is that they just have that option there to do that. You also can get, if you do want, you can get API access to link that up with your existing site. That is an option that you guys can have as well. So a lot of different ways to help share that information, because we do want to help you guys out as much as possible there. And like I said, a lot of different reports here. 3 different lineups up here. Let's say, theoretically, I actually made a mistake. I actually used the wrong pay here. I'm going to just recalculate that. If I wanted to switch up the pay, I can actually just hit this green button right over here, this recalculate, and create a brand new points and pay scheme. So it's actually just going to use a different pay scheme. So it's going to adjust that for me here. We're going to make sure we hit this one right here where the calculator is. This one right here, add an additional points and pay group. That's going to do something a little bit different for you. What that's going to do is just create a brand new, an additional points, additional pay. So if we were doing a double points night, let's say, I know that's not something the sanction would probably do, but if I did this and I tried to do it, it's actually going to double up on whatever pay or whatever points I try to do. So you can see up at the top here, it's kind of doubled. So Patrick Perron here has 80 points instead. So if you ever notice, as you're kind of auditing your points over here in season management in points, let's say I'm taking a look at everything. We're in our 360 class. And we look at Patrick Perron, and we notice that he should not have as many points as he does. We actually can look down here at the bottom, and we can see it looks like there was 2 points groups. So we got him once and twice. So we know that we'll have to go in here, take a look at that. If we do have an extra points group, totally fine. We can just delete that extra one. And that's going to remove those duplicate points. We go back to Patrick here. We're going to notice those are gone. And when we go back, he's going to be at less points than he should be. This is another cool thing here, is this point standings. When you go here, you can see that what events were included here. You also can see any events where there weren't any points applied. So these are the ones that are going to be applied here for him. So you can see where those are all coming from. We also can view the standings as of a specific date. So if I wanted to see what they looked like here on Friday, I can adjust it, or I can go back to the modern time. So we have a lot of different options for viewing those points and everything. Yes, with SOTA or USRA, we'll also see this sanctioned and that points as well. I'm going to leave it open for questions for a little bit here. Feel free, Alt and H. And if you do have a question you want to ask me direct, you certainly can. There's going to be that 2 in there. And you can actually just click to talk to me direct in case you want to ask a question anonymously. I'm perfectly fine there as well. Oh, sorry, I missed some here. We set up the race order of heats. There's no way to move orders around. I should have the if you're putting in B features, if you notice that there's something like that, just notice that you have the correct thing marked. If you do feel, I'm going to give you my email here. If you do feel that you had that correct, I can take a look at that. So let me send you that and take some screenshots, or send me the link to where you had that, and I can take a look at what was going on there. Can we print lineups? Yes, you can print lineups. So we can go to the lineups here, and that print button's going to be right here. We're probably going to want to print one per page, since I won't really want to worry about, we'll just want to do those features. We can print those right here. We also have available for you guys. I'm going to put this one in here. So we have the lineup monitor. So what this will do, this will actually show all of the races that I have that are in lineup mode. So for right now, that's why I sent that one back to lineup, so that you could see what that would look like. So as I'm creating lineups in the system, it'll put this on this lineup board. I can have a monitor in the pits. I've seen plenty of tracks do that where they have a monitor hooked up. This will update, and as we put in results and save them, it'll move this out of the way and put in more current things as well. Great questions though. Again, I'm leaving it open for questions for a little bit longer. Alt H is the spot to answer those. Happy to answer this for you. Yep, that is correct. Once you have that set up, it's just going to monitor all those different lineups on a per night kind of basis. So it's once you use this here, you have that link set up and it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of the night. And it's going to show all of the lineups, like I said, that are ready here. So I'm going to set this back to completed. I should be fine there. Excuse me. So other tools here, like I said, you do have that announcer screen. We also have the lap viewer. So when I was doing races in MRP lot, I could also have this lap viewer. I've seen a lot of tracks use this different places. So you can have your announcer using this lap viewer. You could put in additional screens and show this too, maybe in concessions area. Now, a lot of cool ways that you could use that lap viewer. It's going to show basically what's going on with the transponder integration, show that transponder data. I'm gonna keep it open for a few more minutes here. So make sure if you do have any questions, let me know. I'll be here tomorrow as well. Yep, you can Control Plus will actually make that screen a little bit larger here. Both of these, a matter of fact, but you can hit that Control Plus or Control Minus to do that too. I'll be here tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Time, so about the same time tomorrow, going over passing points in the system, as well as the Westhold transponder integration, and then points and pay. So passing points, a lot of cool things that we can do there. If you're using passing points, somebody that does use passing points, I'll be showing that off tomorrow there at noon. And then I'll also be doing that again on Thursday with WISSOTA specific lineups. So I'll be doing the WISSOTA lineups in my laps on Thursday. So feel free to hop in on those. Even if you aren't using passing points or not a specific sanction, it's always nice to know a little bit more. And if you do want to practice more what you've seen right now and don't want to wait for race day, want to keep practicing, that's totally fine. You have that sandbox option right over here. It's going to be in this lovely shade of blue, and you have the option to go through, use everything that you want to use, kind of work with the system in a consequence-free environment, as I like to say. So you can kind of work in the practice to your heart's content here without anything sharing to the app or sharing out to the public. It's sort of your spot for training. The only thing to consider is that transponder integration won't work with that. I recommend using the test and tune for that, but as you saw, it is pretty quick to set up and pretty simple to set up, so we should be good to go there. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for me for the day. Again, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You also have this help system right over here. We're always happy to help out as much as possible as well, so you can reach out to us. Again, I'll be here tomorrow at noon, so be happy to see you there. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. This will be up on YouTube as well at some point here. Try to get those up in the next week or so. So have a great rest of the day. Be here tomorrow, and thanks for watching.